Hey everyone, welcome to what might be the shortest podcast ever.
I gotta pay my rent. I totally forgot that I have to pay my rent.
Right before we came live, Aaron started freaking out and worrying that he hadn't paid his rent. So,
I'm weighing whether I should stay or I should go and pay my rent.
Maybe we should just pause and just have like.
Can you give it'll take like an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
That's all it'll take.
The podcast is
I gotta find my checkbook.
I think I have checks.
That's the worst thing about buying a house, like and no longer renting, is that you have like this fucking 30 years of crippling debt over your head. But the best thing is, at least you don't have to pay till the 15th of the month.
But it's not the same thing. You still have to pay it every month.
Yeah,
but it's arbitrary.
But it's even grayer because like you can let it default. Like you just let it default and then eventually you pay. You know, like you can just.
It's like how many months is it till the bank notices?
Yeah,
you don't really own a house though.
Well, after 30 years, you do.
Yeah, after 30 years. But you're just staying in the house, the bank's house, basically.
Yeah.
But the bank isn't like coming over and fixing shit. Like, what are you talking? I mean, yeah. It's
hey, bank, my AC's broken.
Yeah, they don't care unless you don't pay.
Well, there has to be a legal loophole that if the bank needs to crash someplace for a night.
What happens? What happens if you don't pay? Like for how? Like what do they do?
Chris has a mortgage now, so he's legitimately asking. He's like, wait, hold on, wait.
After a while, they don't notice immediately, but they will eventually notice, and then they try to make you pay it, and then if you don't pay it, then they just take your house back.
Take it.
Yeah.
Gus, what's a second mortgage? I have all these questions. I guess
before we get to the further intricacies of home mortgages, it's a podcast. I'm Gus.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Gus.
But we had like a 1930s movies class. There was an HBO class.
Oh, yeah. I guess we all went to the same school.
There was a couple of classes where it's like, well, I'm going to have to get drunk before I go to this class.
Are you talking about... Chris and I had this class called... Should I say the name of it? I guess it doesn't matter, right? It's called... it was a weird class.
Say it.
It was called The Uncanny. Right, and it was like dealing with things that are
uncanny.
Okay. So for instance, when you see a robot, like a humanoid robot that looks really real, and you kind of go, "Ugh," that's the uncanny.
Like the
I guess
Uncanny
that's
Valley.
what she said,
Like
or whatever.
or like virtual reality that looks too close to life, but not close enough to where it's like.
That's the Uncanny Valley, essentially, or whatever. So Chris and I took this class that we essentially. How would you describe it? We would.
Well, there weren't projects. It was just like. We had four assignments, and it's just come up with something that's uncanny. That was the class. Come up with 4 projects that are uncanny.
It was like free form, like something that you would take in the 70s, essentially. Like anything goes. One of those.
As long
classes.
as it's uncanny.
Yeah. Are you getting to?
Oh, I don't know. You want to talk about that guy who?
So, okay, yeah.
So we. Just as an
here.
example, do you ever see that video of me dancing with myself, Brandon?
Rhubarb.
Yeah, that was a project I did for that class.
Like one of the best projects, like if you can imagine that.
Yeah. So, but it's essentially the final project is you're supposed to spend like a third of the semester on this final project. It's supposed to be really good. Well, I don't know how you interpret it, but it's supposed to be impressive. But,
okay. So anyway,
I fell asleep.
Chris and I had spent all of our time making this 3D movie that was crazy. It was like a gore film or whatever, and we'd spent all this time. I spilled on myself doing this movie, and we'd shown it. Whatever. We were really tired. Chris falls asleep, and this guy comes out with. First of all, he'd missed his first class to present his project, so he's already late on it. He comes out with this tub full of Pepsi, like I guess Pepsi or Coke or something, just this huge sloshing tub. And he comes out with Smarties, or what, right?
Pop Rocks.
Pop Rocks, that's what it was. So he comes out with Pop Rocks, and his girlfriend's assisting him, and he's in front of maybe 60 or 70 of us, and he gets this tub, and he goes, when I drop these Pop Rocks in this tub, it's going to foam over, and it will go everywhere, and you will see, like, well, I don't even know how you describe it, magic or physics in action or something like that. So anyway, he throws all of these Pop Rocks that they had, unwrapped into this tub, and it does nothing, like absolutely nothing. And there's just silence, right? And so one of the old guys that was auditing the class, he's like 60 or 70, he goes, God, damn it, you wasted our fucking time. And Chris,
I remember that guy.
Yeah, you remember that guy, the old guy? So Chris like starts waking up like that, and he sees this guy yelling next to him. And I'm like, Chris, look. And this guy's like, you are a disgrace to the community and this class, whatever the class was, and we hate you and blah, blah, blah. And he just stopped, right? And Chris and I are just looking.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on? And I couldn't even explain it to him. And so then they just went down the line, the teacher's aide, the other teacher's aide, the teacher, and they all berated him one by one, telling him how awful he was. Meanwhile, he's standing up there with his girlfriend eating Pop Rocks. And he has this look on his face. He can't say anything because he knows he's fucked up. And his girlfriend is just slowly moving away.
She broke up with him, I'm sure, that
immediately.
night. Because...
So where do we go? Yeah, that's another bullshit class.
Yeah, so bullshit classes.
That's where we were getting at.
I thought you were going to say at the end it was like a twist, like the uncanny. It's like
the uncanny was. I don't know.
Like that was the thing.
I got you. I didn't really know what I was doing with Lyft when I first downloaded it. I didn't think I would ever use it, so it was like take a picture of yourself. So I took a picture, and it's like super creepy and awkward because it's just like this low angle. I'm making this really weird face, and I was like, I'll just change this later. There's no way. You cannot change that picture. So every time someone chooses to pick me up, they see that, and I always think,
oh my
just
god, I better bring the rape spray.
What?
What the rape?
Let's explore this.
Pepper spray. Like pepper spray. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
You have people snorting off camera.
All right, I want to leave. I gotta pay my bills.
Yeah, I gotta pay my
rent. Gotta get an Uber to take me. So, like the school I went to was really, really dumb and super. Like I don't know the word to describe it. Like super tough. Like there were constant fights, and I don't know how I got through that school, but. We had like plastic lunch cards. They were kind of like credit cards. So when you went to pay for your lunch, you would like swipe it and it would, debit from your meal account. But what all the students started doing was they would take hole punchers and like carve off an edge on it. That way it was sharp and had like a little hook. That way when you fought, you could use it like a knife.
What?
Yeah. Did you go to prison?
So it's like they would make like these little impromptu knives and they couldn't take it away from them because it was their meal card. And then girls would like use hole punchers they would grow their fingernails long and use hole punchers on the tips. That way each fingernail became like two little stabbing points. And when they would get in fights, it would just be like super bloody because they'd scratch each other and like blood and hair and shit would go everywhere. One time when I was a sophomore.
When you were fighting for your life?
I was a sophomore. We actually had a school shooting in my school. Like a girl brought a gun to kill another girl at the school.
But she had sharpened her fingernails,
right,
so
well,
she deflected the bullets.
The girl who was going to get shot, like, tackled and beat up the girl with the gun. So, like, the gun went off, and, like, the only thing that got shot was the ceiling. The girl just got, like, suspended for a few days and then, like, came back to school.
It was just like
to be fair, they took away her gun.
They did take away her gun. She did not get that back. She had to go buy another one when she bought her TI-83.
They didn't have like school suspension. That's it.
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
Just out in the border or some shit.
Jesus, Gus.
It was fucking awful.
We had a lot of fights at our school.
Go figure. I don't like school.
I'm gonna start growing out my fingernails and punching holes in them and
just wandering around the office waiting for something.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fights at our school, and I guess it was like this everywhere, but it's like when a fight broke out, everybody was super excited, and they all ran to the fight because they all wanted to watch. Well, there was one time where a fight broke out in the bathroom, and I saw it because I was in the bathroom peeing, and I was like midstream, and this fight breaks out, and then people start yelling, and then hordes of people start rushing into the bathroom, and I can't do anything about it.
I would always just yell,
an awesome
"Stoop kids
fight,
leaving a stoop" from Hey Arnold.
There was this kid who was setting paper towel dispensers on fire in my school, like in my high school, and he just kept, like, no one could figure out who it was, and he'd set them on fire, set them on fire, set them on fire. Well, there was also this other kid who would go to the urinal and pee with his pants down, all the way down by his ankles, and apparently they walked into the bathroom at the same time, and they just made this pact. It was like, I won't say that you did this if you don't say that I still do this. And they're like, and they still couldn't figure out who it was. Like, he just kept setting the things on fire. Yeah, honor. Don't say I pee with my pants down.
I'm going to continue telling awful high school stories, specifically about the bathroom, because now that's the tangent
that's where
we're
we
on.
are.
So, since like you've determined, I essentially went to a prison for a high school. None of the bathroom stalls had doors. because they couldn't trust the students with doors. So it's like, and the bathrooms also never had toilet paper. So it's like you could not take a dump at school, or if you did it with no door and no toilet paper. Like
So it was prison.
It was just
You
like
take a dump when I say you take a dump.
it was like just understood. It was like that's the way it is because we're animals and we can't be trusted. And similar to your fight story, one time I was using the bathroom. So the whole high school was bad, but there was one wing of the high school that was really bad, and I really had to go. So like, God, I'm gonna go to the bad wing. I'm gonna pee in there.
It was just the east side.
And I was standing next to a guy. Yeah, I was at one urinal. He was at the other. We were both peeing. A group of guys walk in the bathroom, and they just sucker punch the guy to my right. like fucking knock him the fuck out. He falls to the ground. They circle around him and start kicking the shit out of him while he's
Is his
on the
dick
ground.
still hanging out?
And I'm like, I just gotta finish peeing. I'm just getting out of here.
You're like, I can't stop it. It'll burn.
Yeah, it's like I'm just gonna finish this and walk out. Hopefully they don't hit me before then.
You just try to like fit in and like kick him too.
Yeah, you have to at that
Fuck
point.
this guy.
I'm with you guys.
I'm gonna go look out for anybody coming.
One time in middle school, I was standing next to this girl. I was waiting to get picked up by my parents after school, and I was standing next to this girl, and we were both like standing by the street waiting for our parents, and I kind of got like a little shoved to the side. I was like, oh, that's weird. And I turned and I looked, and the girl had gotten shoved to the ground, and a gang of girls was like around her, kicking her on the ground. And I remember to this day, like looking at her face on the ground and seeing like the imprint of shoes on her face from where she was getting stomped on the face. And I was like, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
Like, do I really have to continue going to school?
Is this why you're such a hard ass today? If you went to that school?
Did
Oh,
I
man,
ever tell you
tough.
about the first time I moved to a new school and went to the bathroom? Ever tell that story?
I don't think so.
So I went to new school and went to the bathroom. I was nervous. A new state, new school, didn't know anyone. Go to the bathroom. I pee, and I go to wash my hands. It's weird because it was a weird like long sink, like a really long sink.
Oh, piss trough?
No,
Wait, what are you talking
It was a
about?
long sink. And so I go and I'm washing my hands, and
sink.
it's like a really long sink.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I'm washing my hands, and this kid comes in the bathroom, and he's just staring at me. And I'm already self-conscious because I'm like the new kid in the school, and he's staring at me like I'm a weird. Like he looks at me like what is wrong with you? I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm washing my hands in the sink, and I leave, and then I come back to go to the bathroom again at lunch. It was a piss trough.
I totally ruined that, Chris. I'm so sorry.
I was washing my hands in the toilet.
What did you use for soap? Did you not think it was weird that the soap
I was like,
way
where's
over
the soap?
by the normal sink?
Well,
No.
So
Sometimes you have the little thing in the bottom of the.
No, I was
the
just-
sink,
Did you use a
grab
urinal?
it.
No, I just was like, "Where's the soap?" I guess they're out, and so I just because what it was a big big old urinal, and they just had a pipe that had water constantly pouring out of it. I had never seen that before in my life. I went and peed in the toilet.
He was a senior, by the way, in high school.
And I was washing my hands. There was this. I didn't look and see that there were sinks right next to the.
He was nervous.
there
He
was a
started
penis
washing his
there.
face.
But then when I walked in, I was like, "Why are they peeing in the sink?" Like,
So did you,
You
spend
guys
like
are
the rest of your
animals.
day with filthy piss hands?
it was just, no, it wasn't piss, and no one peed on my hands. It was just the water.
You just washed them in the urinal.
yes.
That's piss water.
That's
No.
piss hands. You had pee hands.
All right, well, whatever. I'm not gonna argue that. I might have washed my hands in the toilet, but it was an innocent mistake. I didn't know. I was young.
How old were you?
I was
19,
like
right?
10 or 11.
Okay.
Oh, that's awful.
You want to hear a bad dog story?
Yes.
All right.
You
So-
guys are forcing me.
All right. So I was 4, and we had this dog named Binky.
Did you kill it, Chris?
No, I didn't. We had this dog named Binky. It was the family dog. It was the only dog I knew. I was 4. It was a family dog. My dad's out of town on a business trip. I wake up one morning. My mom is crying. Everyone's crying. The dog died. I was like, it was just like a cry fest because it was like my sister was 6, my brother was like an infant, and everyone was just crying because the dog was dead on the porch. My mom didn't know what to do. She got kind of, got a little hysterical, I think. So she was like, this is weird. So she laid a blanket out next to the dog. And then she got me and my sister to flip the dog onto the blanket. And then we drugged the dog, me and my sister, while we're bawling, because this is our family dog. We drugged the dog to the garage where we had a freezer. And then we lifted the dog and put it in the freezer until my dad got home a week later.
Were there times in the middle of the week you went?
Yes, exactly. I went and showed my friend. I was like, listen, I got to show you my dog.
Just past that
it was one of those things where it's like, have you ever seen a dead body?
Yeah, it's like, would you like some ice cream? You want to see a dead dog?
I got one, and it was like one of those things where we lifted it and we'd see it and it'd be like looking at us. And
You didn't close the eyes before you put it in?
You put it in without wrapping it, Chris?
It was in the head of the blanket.
What? But how
You think Chris's dad was like, motherfucker, I knew that dog was gonna die. I left town.
I just remember
They put it in the fucking freezer.
I just remember my dad getting back and was like, why didn't you bury it? And I was just a kid and I was like, why is mom and dad fighting?
popsicle dog?
It was it was so I just the thing is that was the first time I've ever been around an animal that died. I thought that's what you did.
You put him in the freezer.
Yeah, I just assumed that was normal.
Did you put a big stick, like impale?
No, I just thought that was like a dog dies. It's like you put it in the freezer.
I hope I never die around you. Really,
I thought it was normal. And not until like years later when we were telling that story, when people were like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, we put it in the freezer," and and then our dad got back from business, and then we took it out and we buried it. And like, what? I don't know. I thought it was normal.
That's a little weird.
It was weird. At
least you recognize it now.
Yeah. That's what I think about. That's why I don't have a dog.
I like how a dog. You immediately took a drink and then immediately started talking.
I don't want to. That's why I don't have a dog.
That's one of the many reasons why you don't have a dog, I think.
Bye.